What's up, everybody? Are you feeling not so great? Like perhaps today you just feel like a turd. Well, you're in luck because today's episode we are talking about the topic on feeling shitty, or SH star TTY, because it would sell more. So
Yeah, it's the popular way to do it.
this is the Existential Stoic podcast. I'm Randy. That's Danny. What's going on, Danny?
What's up, Randy? It's funny. I did appreciate that every time I went to Barnes and Nobles, how many books now the title is like, it's so funny just to sell copies. Like, oh my God.
Some curse word with a star instead of a vowel. I
Yeah,
know, right? It's absurd, and the numbers of them are astounding. It's
yeah.
like astounding.
Well, that
They
one
sell a
person, I
lot.
I forget who wrote the one
Mark
like
Manson.
Unfuck Your Life. Yeah, but
Oh
then
no.
they ended up writing like 100 other ones,
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
all with the same title.
Yeah. Yep. And it all started with the subtle art of not giving a bleep.
Yep,
Yeah. Hmm.
you can say it. It's
Yeah.
okay. It's just a
The
word.
subtle art of starting a revolution with asterisks. So,
Subtle art of
anyways,
marketing.
what were
Yeah,
we
good one.
talking about today? What's the
I don't know,
yeah,
feeling shitty.
yeah, yeah. So this is one. It's a timely thing because recently I've been feeling kind of shitty. You mentioned you were feeling kind of shitty, and a couple
Yeah.
of weeks ago, I was listening to Seneca's "On the Shortness of Life," and it just seemed appropriate for a title to be on feeling shitty because it's just like,
Yeah,
hey, we all feel it
yeah,
sometimes, so let's talk
yeah, we
about
do.
it.
Well, it is funny though, because I think it's like, we think our experiences are so unique, so individual, but they're not. They're if you feel a certain way, somebody else does for the same reason, pretty much. I think when you realize that it is helpful, but we all feel shitty. And none of us want to, and it makes life hard. I feel shitty when I'm tired, when I'm hungry, when I'm stressed, and things, it's like and it's difficult, but I do notice like the more I pay attention, the better I seem to be getting at like dealing with it and moving past it. But it still happens. It's like it's something that like it's almost comical because it's like no matter how much I do, like that are positive things to ensure that things are going the right way and all, it's like yeah, stuff always happens, so that's always going to be a factor. But like it's like even if things didn't happen, I'd still feel shitty at times. It's like you can't get away from it. It's
Hmm.
amazing. I'm just
Yeah, yeah. Like you mentioned, the more times you go around on the ride, the more
yeah,
you realize that it's gonna pass this time, but it still doesn't make it any easier.
it doesn't. It's probably why getting older, like you do have a better perspective because you're like, oh, I've done this a lot. Like whereas like
This
when
is
you're
the
young,
five
it's like
millionth time I'm feeling like a turd. I think I'm gonna get through it this time.
yeah, the 5 millionth time I thought my life would always be terrible now again. Isn't that
Mhm.
funny that as soon as you start feeling bad, you just project forward that this is how you're always gonna feel. Oh my God, life's over.
Dude, and it makes life so burdensome because you're like, oh, how
Yeah.
can I get through this day, through this week, through this month, through the next year, through the next decade, through the next 40 years, whatever it is. It just makes it seem like unbearable almost.
Do you think it's because uh, I wonder if it is because like things are so fast paced now and like everybody's trying to live their best life, everybody's trying to do more, you're trying to do all this stuff and like so any kind of like it's like a block or bump or speed bump, right? Like I start to feel bad and then like it derails me from all the other things I would want to be doing. I feel like I'm missing out. I feel like I'm not living up to my potential. I feel like I'm a failure. All these things kind of snowball, and if you don't catch yourself quick enough, you're depressed.
Yeah, I think it is because everyone's trying to live their best life. We're all trying to do so much stuff. Like back in the day, you had a job, you shoveled horse shit, and that was your job for life. Like, what did you? You're not gonna
You
get
also didn't
promoted.
know any better though. Like there wasn't like you were
Yeah,
in a tiny town,
there was no
like
comparison. There was no Bill Gates. There was no like. There was nothing.
also too, I think too also back in the day, like if people were like, your Roman emperors or your elite, there was also like these class things where like they were kind of born into it. So like you just like, oh, I can't be that. I wasn't that kind of I wasn't
Hmm.
born in that way or that stock or whatever the hell.
Yeah, there was
So
no
yeah,
stress about it.
yeah. That probably is it, right? Because that idea that we can all that that idea that we can all achieve and that we can all win and that we can all, succeed also comes with like a shitload of pressure. Like it really
Yeah,
does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was laughing today because I was struggling through some stuff and it was a lot harder than I wanted it to be. And then I was laughing at myself about that saying that you had. It's a cold, dark night on the side of Everest. I'm like, what am I literally? What am I expecting? I'm trying to do something super difficult. Am I expecting it to be easy, like just a cakewalk all the time? What is wrong? Yeah.
Yeah, I used to when I was in grad school, I would do that all the time. Like when I was writing papers and stuff, I get so mad. I'm like, why isn't this easy? But it's like, well, it's a stupid question. It shouldn't be, right? It's
Hmm.
supposed to be hard. It's supposed to, like it shouldn't just be like, blah, here it is, done in two
Hmm.
minutes. But it's like we go in with the expectation that everything will be that way. It's kind of funny. Like we want to do more. We want to challenge ourselves, but then when we're challenged, we get mad that it's not simple.
Mm. Yeah, because I mean, that's what we're sold from like advertisements and commercials and everything. It's basically like like a 2 or 3 step process. It's like your life sucks.
Yeah.
They don't even ask you to question it. They just tell you your life sucks. Use this product immediately. Your life will be better. And it's
But yeah,
like we just buy
okay.
into that because we watch so many
Yeah.
hours of TV and commercials and all this different stuff. We just buy into the quick fix type of mentality where like if your life sucks, which it clearly does without questioning, then just use a product and it'll be better.
Yeah, isn't that funny? It's like, are you struggling learning something? Drink a Red Bull. Or, take this like medication that's not FDA approved that's supposed to promote brain whatever the fuck or
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
Yeah, it is. It's ridiculous. Like, but we do buy into it. And it's hard, it's almost hard not to think that way because you're so conditioned. This is a thing I struggle with a lot, right? It's like, and I noticed it a lot more since I've been more like aware of it, but all the things I've like internalized from like the culture we grew up in, values, community, all that. Like, I feel like I see it more and more bubbling up in ways that and like I'm mad about it because it's like I don't know. It's like I'm mad that I respond that way, but at the same time, it's almost like what do you call it? Like almost like muscle reflex. Like I can't help it either, because it's like so ingrained in me, and it's
Well, it's
aggravating.
just yeah, it's just
Yeah,
frustrating to get lied to so often. Like every on a regular basis, I'm just literally like I literally trust nobody and nothing. Like people will say anything, and I'm like, I just don't trust you anymore. I don't trust a damn thing about anything.
because you know what the truth is? No one knows. That's it.
Diddly.
No one knows. No one knows what they're doing. No one knows how to do it. Like literally everything.
Hmm.
No one knows how to live a good life because if they did, they would be doing it and they would tell everybody.
Hmm.
And I mean, philosophers have, but even they were struggling with it.
Sure, sure. So like everyone's looking for a quick fix, and there's this book that I listened to called The Compound Effect, and this is a guy who's like his dad was like super tough on him when he was young. Like he was 6 years old, and his dad made him like clean the whole house and like do like insane amounts of chores on a child. But he grew up recognizing the value of hard work, and so in his 20s, he's like worth 100 million. He's got these insane companies and everything, but he's like everybody wants a quick fix and here's the
Yeah.
secret there's no such thing. It's
No.
all hard work. And yeah, I guess we could
Yeah,
end the episode there. It's all hard
we
work.
could.
That's
Yeah,
it.
that's all it is.
Yeah.
Well, no, to that point though, I think like that's like I noticed like I've been better at dealing with how I feel when I start thinking about it that way. Like I've been trying to remind myself that like yes, I want to obviously I want to be an expert programmer right now. But there's also the rational part of me that knows like, well, I got a lot to learn and it's really lifelong learning. So, and that's also what I like about it. So I got to like also remember that and remember that like I'm happy that I'm in the process and then finally doing it, right? Or you know, uh, like something happened with my family this week, so I was stressed out. But like at the same time, I remind myself, like, okay, that's something that's happening. I can do what I can to help. I can, there is things I can do, like remembering the dichotomy of control, like what's within my power. I can choose how I respond. I can be a part of the solution, not the problem, right? And I think kind of reminding ourselves that it always takes work. And even if you are happy now, guess what? You're gonna feel shitty again, and it's gonna take work not to feel that way. So it's just like this constant process of I think,
Mm.
constantly reaffirming the same thing, constantly sort of reminding ourselves what to do. And it does get easier. Not that it
Mm.
gets like necessarily perfect, but
Yeah. And letting go of the time pressure. Like I was listening to Zig Ziglar's See You on the Top, and he was talking about how he was 45 years old and broke and in debt after working since he was like 13 years
Yeah.
old and had
Yeah.
nothing to show for it. And I was like, wait, he's 45. Hang on, this is Zig Ziglar, the millionaire. He was 45 and he had nothing. Hang on, I still got a
Yeah.
chance here. And
Yeah.
he's
I
like,
still got time.
I still got a chance. And it's like we're so inundated with these complete
Yeah.
outliers, these like people who somehow did something crazy in their teens or their 20s, and they're just like, we're like, well, if I don't do it by then, my life's over. And it's just like, that's not true.
But do you know why everybody fetishizes those stories? Because one, they're usually not true or accurate. But the other thing is they fetishize them, I think, because, you know, that is what they really, most people really like imagine. They want it to be so simple. Like one thing, just boom, you get lucky that first time. It's perfect. You're good. You're golden, right? You have all the money. Or like, it's like the lottery thing, right? You scratch off that one ticket or you buy that one ticket and suddenly you're a millionaire. Like, you didn't have to do any work. You didn't have to do anything hard. You didn't have to do all this other stuff. And it's kind of funny because like you then have a built-in excuse for when it doesn't work out, right? Like, oh, I wasn't that person. I didn't have those opportunities. I wasn't in the right place at the right time. All that BS. When in reality, you just got to keep going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get stuck in that where I want to have it all figured out right now. Like,
Oh hell yeah.
I just want to make sure I'll be safe and secure forever, just all figured out right now. And it's just like that's not the way things work. Like,
No.
it just doesn't, and it just causes so much stress trying to figure out my whole life right now when all I really have to do is make it to bedtime tonight. That's it.
Yeah. It is funny though, because it's like the motivation for doing that is like you want to get rid of stress, but all you're doing is causing more stress. You know what I mean? Like it is kind of funny when you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been trying really hard and it has been helpful to like um how can I explain this? Like trying to stay in the present, like trying to be happy with what I have, trying to be happy doing what I'm doing, and like realize that I am happy doing what I'm doing. Like I am happy, like now, and like kind of trying my hardest to remember that so that I don't get caught up in this like transplanting myself into some imagined future, and instead trying to stay present and realize it. Because honestly, I think like yes, probably we have a lot of time, but we also don't know. So it's better to just be happy in the moment because then whenever it ends, you're doing what you wanted to do, you're doing the right thing. But that means like, being intentional in your life so that you're on the path that you want to be on.
Well, that's an amazing way to go about it because that's really. I mean, everybody has it backwards where they say, when I get this or when I do that or when I'm that, then I'll be happy. But that's completely backwards. It's like
I don't
when
know if
you're
we're gonna get those
happy,
things.
yeah, so just be happy now. And it's like crazy because I mean, you mentioned you're doing the stuff you enjoy now. And I was thinking about this last night because we've talked before about some of these like questions to help figure out what to do with your life. So the one of them that like if all jobs paid the same, what would you do? And I was thinking about that and it's like I would literally be doing what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. So why aren't you
Why?
happy? What's wrong
Yeah,
with you?
I know. Well, that was part two of the question.
Oh yeah, okay. Okay.
Yeah. I am. It's crazy because I want to be better at it and I want to be making more money at it
Yeah,
and I want to
yeah.
be, it's like I want to have it all figured out right now instead of just being in the process.
Yeah, it's funny. What's helped me with this, and don't get me wrong, by no means am I very good at this, but it's been a helpful exercise, and I think it's working. Like I also every time I start feeling down, I keep reminding myself how lucky I am for what I have that I'm able to like. Because to be honest, like yeah, like a few years ago, this wasn't the case because I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. I was unhappy with my job. I was unhappy with and now I'm not, and I'm very grateful that I had the time to do what I to do the things I needed to do to get where I am now. I'm very grateful that I was able to, do it, that I had people supporting me, like all that stuff. I just keep reminding myself. And I'm like, oh yeah, I am happy. And like, yes, it takes work and like it doesn't always solve my mood, every time, but I've noticed it helps a lot, which is good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like getting perspective. Okay, so a lot of the stuff we've been mentioning, I remember that from the Just for Today thing that we
Yeah.
went over a few weeks ago. Because, like, just having the perspective or taking a little time out of the day to have perspective. Like, if you have a car and you have running water and you have a bed and you have cooked food, you're literally in the top tier of society. You've made it.
Yeah.
You've made it. And it's just like, but we're like, but I don't have a Bentley and I don't have Louis Vuitton covers on my bed, and I'm not eating $100 steak dinner every meal, and I'm not drinking Voss bottled water. So my
It's
life is just garbage.
terrible. Yeah, you want to hear a crazy? I remember the statistic from this is back a few years ago when I was teaching like social ethics or something. But it was the statistic was that 6.5 billion people have cell phones, and only 4.5 billion have access to a toilet. Think about that. How crazy that is. Like the priorities, right? It's so funny. And like I think it is
They're
absurd.
like,
And I think
they're like, well, I can dig a hole anywhere, but there's only one way to get onto Instagram.
yeah, dude, it's crazy. And I think it's like that's what's funny about humans is we put so much emphasis on the value of our reason, but we're not really rational, you know? And and I think it's gonna be a struggle, but yeah, we can do it, you know.
Well, it's like,
It's
who
so
designed this thing? Clearly, humans were not designed to be happy,
nope.
because we were mentioning this the other day, how like being rational does not equate to being happy at all, and the way that our brain works does not equate to happiness.
No, it's like I think I was telling you, yeah, Immanuel Kant said that he said if nature wanted us to be happy, it would use instinct, not the brain, not reason. Because it's a terrible tool for happiness. It is. It's a really bad, if you overthink things, you're gonna be unhappy. If you focus on what other people have, you're gonna be unhappy. If it's like it takes a lot of work to get cultivate your thinking in the right way to focus on what's important.
So then, why do we have this rational brain? What happened? Was it just an experiment gone wrong?
Maybe the ancient aliens when they were creating us back, in the day and from the monkeys or whatever, the Neanderthals. Maybe it was just maybe they're just trying something out. Who knows?
Man, it's so freaking crazy.
It is. It is nuts. It's well, it's funny too, but I think it's like we we assume we know things and we assume like, whatever we learned growing up and all is correct and whatever. And we don't really like put a lot of effort into like how we work what's important. I think about this like, like a lot of people don't put a lot of time into thinking about like what really matters to them. They just assume they know, or they don't think about like and I think this is the other problem. Like we don't spend enough time really like soul searching or self-awareness or self-reflection that can help us get to the point where we are living the life that's right for us. You know?
And it's so easy to get sidetracked. Like, one of the
Oh
things
yeah.
that, so like, we both write a lot in the morning, and one of the things that I do is like, there are a few like key ideas that I look at every day. I write them in the front and the back of my journal just so I can reference them regularly. And like, one of them is like doing kind of like a goal that I have, doing the things that I love surrounded by people that I love, and like
It's a
just
good one.
focusing on that. Yeah. And so it's like, I've made lists of like, well, what is it that I love? And just like these things. And they're very
Yeah.
easy to do, but it's just
Yeah.
like so easy to get distracted and not do them. I pick up my phone and I'm just searching stuff forever. That's
Yeah.
not on a thing that I love. That
Yeah.
didn't make it on the list,
Yeah.
or like, just sitting and watching TV mindlessly. It didn't make the list, and yet it's easy to get distracted and do that.
Well, it's funny too. It's like that old saying where they say like, nobody on their deathbed wishes they worked more. Nobody on their deathbed wishes they spent more time trolling on Instagram or like social media. Nobody on their deathbed wishes they watched more Netflix, movies. Like nobody's gonna wish they spent more time doing that when they die. They're gonna wish they spent more time doing the things they love with the people they love. I mean, that's pretty much we all know this. Yet you're right. It's so easy to get distracted from it. It's like amazing. And it's also easy to get caught up in it too, because like I think there's pressures around us that belief in somewhere in our head we all believe that like yeah, I'm not doing those things I love right now, but if I just work hard, if I just do this, I'll have all this imaginary time in the future. I won't have any work to do, and then I can do all that stuff with those people. And it's like
Mm.
that's a stupid way to go about it because one, you might never get that time, and two, you're just lying to yourself.
That's a great point, because putting off anything for the future just isn't going to get done. Like, I've
And you just don't
I've
know what's
found,
gonna happen. Like, like you can't be certain.
yeah, like I've found if I'm not doing it now, it's just never going to get done. So yeah, because putting it like all that stuff. It just
I,
and this has also helped me get rid of a lot of stuff that I've clung to. Like I had a guitar because I took guitar lessons for a long. I've been playing guitar since I was 14. I'm not a shredding guitarist yet. Like, who am I kidding? It sits around for most of the time, and then I pull it out once in a while, play the same old songs that I know, and then it goes back to sitting around. So it's like, but it like helped me get rid of a lot of stuff that I was just carrying around because I was like, well, you know what? Maybe that guitar dream just doesn't mean that much to me. And
yeah,
so like letting go of that and actually like I gave it to somebody who really wanted to learn guitar, and you should have seen how happy they were when they got a
oh yeah,
guitar. It was
yeah.
like just them getting a guitar was so much happiness for me, like more than I could have ever gotten by playing guitar myself. It's so crazy.
Yeah, it's funny. No, I think that's a good point though too, which is like, like getting clear about like the things that you're doing that like do matter. Like if you really love playing guitar, whether you were shredding guitars or not, it was just something fun you like to do, then yeah, keep it. That makes sense. But like if it's really not doing that for you, then it's just a thing that's just making you upset because you're not better at it. You're
And
not spending
it
enough
was
time
taking
on
up
it.
space and it was
Yeah.
collecting dust. And yeah, and then I have to change the
Mhm.
string. And it was just like all these things that were just adding complexity in my life that just didn't need to be there. It wasn't on my list of like things that I love. So yeah, let it go.
Yeah, dude, I don't have, I've gotten rid of so much stuff over the years because I just realized like it's just a lot of it was just like hanging on to things because that like idea of like, I mean, the US, like we just collect crap. I mean, anybody's house, how much stuff they have in their basement and stuff in the
Well,
attic. It's
I
like,
saw it on a shirt when I was young that he who dies with the most toys, he wins. So
yeah, but
so
it's true though, right?
clearly the goal is to collect the most toys.
We
Uh,
just collect crap, and it's like,
and then bury them all with you when you die in a pyramid. Oh my gosh. Could you imagine living back then and like being, I don't know, one of the wives of the pharaoh or something like that, and you see that he's like got sick and he's not doing well, and you're like, uh-oh, I hope he pulls through because if not,
uh,
we're all getting buried with him.
all these people that just lose their lives to the servants. I know it's insane.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Jeez.
Things we believe, right? But I
Hmm.
think, yeah, I think that's part of it. It's oh, it's helpful for me too. There's another side note though for when I am like feeling shitty, like especially when I'm having like a really hard time working and stuff. I just give myself one thing to do. Just tell myself like, okay, like yeah, today's not a good day, and like, and this is also important. Remind yourself you're gonna have bad days because everybody does. So like maybe I'm having a bad day. It's okay, it'll pass. And then what's one thing that I want to get done today so it'll make me feel better that I did something. And then the rest of the day, if I want to just lay around, I'll lay around. If that's what I need to do, if I overwork myself, I need a break, I'm burnt out, whatever, I'll just do that. So I give myself something easy. Usually most of the time it takes like less than an hour. But then I feel better because I don't feel like I just wasted the day. And it gets rid of that stress of thinking about all the ticking through my to-do list. You know what I mean? Because now I've broken my to-do list down to one thing. That's it. Once that's done, I'm good for the day. I'm golden. And I think that's a very helpful exercise to kind of help you get through that day.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great thing. Just doing one thing, just letting it be. Because like
Yeah.
how many times are we having a terrible day because we're just tired or we're just hungry or maybe we're in pain? Like one
Yeah.
of the if honestly, if I just looked for those three things every time I was miserable, I'd be like, ah, yeah, there it is. I'm tired.
I
Oh,
guess
there it is. I'm
it's
hungry. Oh, I'm in pain. Okay. Oh, there it
it's
is.
mostly I just because I need a nap, like
Yeah.
almost every time. Because like you put and it's that's the worst part too. Because I think I told you like I get in these cycles where like I push myself to do a ton of work and I like basically burn myself out. But it's like a cycle I continually go through for some reason. It's effective. I get a lot done in a short period of time, but it's also detrimental because I end up like, you know, have to recover from it for a little bit. But I think it is. It's like trying to find the balance, trying to keep ourselves, from over pushing and like, reminding ourselves that things take time. There's always tomorrow, there's always the next day, and you recover from it. You do.
Hmm.
Yeah. That it will
Yeah.
pass.
Yeah. But it's
Yeah.
so hard. It's so hard in that moment, like when you're feeling terrible,
Oh
it's
yeah.
so hard to recognize that it'll pass.
Oh, dude, I was just gonna say, like I remember a few years ago when I was feeling like when I was actually really depressed, like and all that. I remember thinking like, I would feel shitty and just like think like it would never, this was it forever. Like it would never
Mhm.
pass, which is untrue. but like it's so easy to, our imagination is so quick to like latch onto things and then just roll with it and take it to like the extreme rather than like, the reality, which is like, yeah, okay, like today sucks. Maybe tomorrow will suck too, but eventually it won't suck. As long as they, and like, but part of that is like, picking yourself up and doing things and starting to take back the control that you lost. I think more often than not, like when we don't feel good too, we feel shitty, it's because of control's lost, whether because you feel tired, whether because, you're stressed, whatever, like you feel like things are out of control or you're losing pace kind of.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, that's a great one. Like, um, another thing that helps me is listening to motivational stuff. So I listen to like these classic motivational tapes like Les Brown and Zig Ziglar and a whole bunch of other ones, Jim Rohn. But I just watch motivational videos on YouTube of like more current stuff. And it's always like it's amazing the stuff that will come up when you listen to it because it'll be things that I've listened to a dozen times before. And just for
Yeah.
some reason today, like this one thing will pop up. Like today I was feeling kind of shitty because like I mentioned, I was struggling in this area where I thought it should have been easy and
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
wasn't. Okay. And I was really upset with myself because I'm like, I should have known this already. It should have been easy already. What's going on? And then I listened to this one thing and it started out with like, it may not happen in 6 months or in a year or in 2 years, but 1 year, my dream will become a reality. And
Yeah.
it just like clicked. I was just like, it doesn't need to happen today. Like there's no pressure other than the pressure that I put on myself that needs to happen today. Like,
Isn't that
yeah.
crazy though? That like the pressure we put on ourselves for things to happen in an unrealistic time frame, like
Mm-hmm.
completely unrealistic. It's so funny that we like somehow like convince ourselves that that's our expectation when it's
Yeah.
like, okay, I started 6 months ago. Why would I be there now? Like that's just
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous. When most
Yeah.
people, I mean, anything you do, you just get better and better over a lifetime. There is no like, I mean, even experts, there's room to grow. Like there's no like point at which you're perfect. It just doesn't happen. So, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we all think we're perfect now, or should be,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. So how do you feel shitty and just like be okay with it?
I mean,
Like,
that's a hard
okay,
one.
well, so we're talking about a bunch of solutions for like how to not feel shitty, but like quite honestly, when you feel shitty, even if you start working to not feel shitty, you're still gonna feel shitty for quite a while.
I mean, I
I
think,
have
oh, go
uh,
ahead.
I have one idea,
Okay.
and this is something that borrowed from
What?
that book Dare.
Yeah. One,
Okay,
it's
so
not
I have
even
one
my own
idea
either.
borrowed from the book Dare, where he was talking about it using it towards anxiety because like most of the times when we feel like terrible, it's pretty much the worst that it gets. Like
Yeah.
we're pretty much at the worst moment when we're feeling it. So like he's talking about with anxiety, he's like when you feel that panic attack, he's like dare it. He's like, come on, is that the worst you got? Bring it on. Like Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump, just like yelling at the storm, like, come on, bring it on. Is this it? Is that all you got? So like that's the one thing that I started doing recently when I was feeling shitty. I was like, come on, is this the best you got? Like, I'm tired of just feeling like scared of it. Just bring it all on now. Why not? What else have I got to do? And
Yeah.
because oftentimes it's like we're at the trough, like the lowest point, anyways. So the chances it's
Yeah.
going to get worse isn't. And then it's almost humorous that it's like, well, why isn't it getting any worse? What's going on?
Yeah.
Come on.
I think that's good too, because it forces you to recognize it. And to your point though, I think that's also, I noticed that's also been one of my problems too, is like a lot of times by the time I become aware, really aware of it, I'm already at that like low. Whereas like I've been trying to be more cognizant of it uh as it progresses kind of so I can catch it earlier. And I find that does help. If I can catch it before I'm at that low, I'm more likely to be able to resolve it or like think my way out of it or change my perspective quickly. And once I'm in the low, it's a lot harder because I think you have to then like, deal with the fact that you also feel crappy, as well, or like feel really bad. But yeah, that does help. I mean, like I said, also just reminding myself that people have bad days, that it's okay. It's okay sometimes not to do anything. It's just life. Like it's all right, dude. Like you know what I mean? Like it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. Because
Oh my
we
god.
make everything so like we make everything so as if it's so important, in the moment, and it's really not. Like you know,
That was so funny like for me in particular, because if I have more than like 30 minutes, I'm like I'd lose it. Like weekends are particularly rough for me because I don't have that like whole block of time when I'm working. And so like it's just there's extra time and I get really antsy if I have more than 30 minutes. Like forget it, 3 or 4 hours. That's just like, oh
It's funny what happens to me too is like even if like I can convince myself that it's okay or like that I just need to rest, then like I'll try to rest and I have a hard time resting because like I can't find like I'm uninterested in everything all of a sudden. Like I don't
yeah.
want to, you know what I mean? It's like, oh God, it's so
We're
funny.
just like a cranky little baby.
Oh God, we are, dude. It's terrible. It is
It's like
terrible. It's
go take a nap, damn it.
I was gonna say, it's funny you were saying like you listen to like motivational stuff, right? It's funny because like one thing I used to do and I still think about a lot is like I would go back to like these old philosophical works, like all these philosophers have talked about like the good life, right? You see them all struggling with the same stuff, and that used to cover me a lot too, like Marcus Aurelius, the Stoics. I mean Aristotle, all the ancients, then even more like the more contemporary, medieval, even contemporary philosophers. You see the same problems again and again, and it's
And
like,
these are the smartest people. Like
yeah, oh yeah,
literally the guys who should
not
have it figured
not
out.
only that, they're also the people that have been thinking about it nonstop for a long, like this is a major component of their even how they define themselves in life, right? And it's
Hmm.
funny because like I think it reminds us too that like why would we be better at it than they are? Like why would we somehow, you know what I mean? Like we're
Well,
just human
because
beings.
you know what? But I think we're almost like sold a false bill of goods nowadays because all these self-help gurus like market themselves as if they have it all figured out already and as if they've done it. Like, you think of like Oprah
Yeah,
or Deepak Chopra or Mel Robbins or Tony Robbins or any of these people, and you're like, well, they clearly don't have problems.
yeah, right. You don't see Oprah popping pills on the plane on her TV show, It just
Yeah,
doesn't happen.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Well, that's the problem though, because they're also presenting us with an image of themselves, and we only see them when they're presenting an image. You don't see the whole life. And I think this is also the problem because we look outside for. It's one of the things why I like about the philosophers is that you do see the whole life sort of. Marcus Aurelius is very good at presenting both the down and the upside, essentially, right? Where he's struggling and also where he has his victories. And I think that's more realistic. Like when people today, like, because a lot of them are also trying to sell you a quick fix, like, oh,
Mhm.
the 30-day cleanse or whatever, or the 2 week whatever, where you'll solve all your problems, you'll develop all these habits in the short. It's like, no, you won't. Habits take way longer than 2 weeks to develop. You'll have started something. You need to actually work on it still. So
Do
yeah,
you do you know the so like all the discourses and everything that we have from all the philosophers, did they sell them? Did they make money from them or no?
depends on who you're talking about. I mean, most of them, like most of them, well, I mean, it depends on you. I guess. I mean, they
So like if
taught
we if
like
we
so a
look
lot
at
of
like
them.
the ancient ones like
Okay,
Plato or Aristotle, or maybe we look at some of the more modern ones like Kierkegaard or Kant or something like that. When they wrote these things, did they plan on selling them or were they just writing these to for educating
most of them just
people?
wanted to get the ideas out. And like if you look back at the ancients, like so if you look, there was no like formal education system. So you had like Plato, Aristotle, Epicurus, all those guys. They started schools like the Stoics started schools as well, which were really like fraternal or like organizations for people to get together to learn. So it was more about promoting knowledge and furthering knowledge. There were some the sophists were thinkers who basically did tutoring, so they would tutor like wealthy kids, or children of wealthy people for money. So they did get paid. They traveled around and did that. It was a type of work basically. But
Mhm.
later on, like some of the later philosophers, they just wanted to get their ideas out. Some made some marginal amount of money from it, but most of them didn't make like a ton, or it facilitated like their teaching or their other efforts.
Mm. Yeah, it
Yeah.
just comes back to the whole like not trusting anyone. Like if
Yeah.
if they have some course, a book, anything that's being sold, it's like don't trust a damn thing they say about
Yeah.
how they
But
are.
well, it's
Yeah.
funny. Like I always think of like Nietzsche. Like his life was really hard. He lived basically alone a long time and was sickly, but yet he felt compelled to publish all this stuff he paid to publish it. It was out of his own pocket. He wasn't making like, yes, he got really like, he's very well read now, but in his lifetime, he wasn't like, he wasn't selling tons of copies. I don't even think he made a profit on his books most of the time. yet he did it because he felt compelled and thought it was important. So, that's kind of
Hmm.
like that drive just to like get these ideas out because you have something to say,
Hmm.
which I find fascinating too, because, it's like, that is an interesting commitment, right? Like, the ideas are so important that like, you're also, I don't know.
Yeah, how many
Yeah.
people would do that nowadays? Now it's just like the struggle to survive.
Yeah, it is. And like if you don't, and the sad part is too, like if you don't make money from it now, people abandon things so fast. And it's kind of a shame
Hmm.
too, because I think like it deters us from hobbies. It deters us from a lot of things that we would otherwise enjoy that would enrich our lives, even because, just because we're not going to profit from it. Like, like
Hmm.
I don't know, like, like writing or drawing or painting or something. Like you might like doing that. You might not be the best, but like if you like it, don't stop just because you're not, I don't can't sell
Hmm.
it.
Yeah. Well, I think I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, man, the time before cell phones and like the time before you needed a cell phone and a cellular bill and internet subscription and cable, it was like you didn't have any monthly costs. Like,
Yeah.
what did you have? Maybe like heating your house. That was it. And so you wouldn't need to make that much money to be able to do it.
No, yeah, our costs of like I was talking to somebody the other day about this. Like, like people that have kids now, it's like they're so expensive because like, they all want cell phones, they all and they all need computers and stuff later and all and like all those things cost a lot. And then you have to have all these services to go with it. And you can't like even software you can't even buy anymore. You have to freaking have services and stuff. It's
Hmm.
everything. Like they just keep going up and like not like the quality's got better. They're probably like, yeah, it's a lot.
Hmm.
So there's the pressure to then constantly, make more. And if you want to then provide a better life, there's even more, it's like, it's crazy. It really
Hmm.
is.
Yeah, absurd.
Yeah.
So on feeling shitty, anything else we need to talk about? We talked about how to not feel shitty, how to deal with feeling shitty.
I think
Uh,
remember that everybody does too. Everybody does,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. Even
and
Justin
all good.
Bieber, he was
Yeah.
depressed for a while,
Yeah.
and he has everything, any girl he wants, except
Yeah.
for Selena Gomez, and and, like all the money in the world, all
Well,
that stuff.
it's funny too. You see these people that have so much money that can buy anything, right? And it's like, not I don't think all of them are just rushing out buying a bunch of crap either, It's like
Hmm.
things and it's funny because I think things start to lose their value probably at a certain point, you know. I mean, we've talked about that
Hmm.
before, like, the difference between like a $40,000 car and $120,000 car is really not that big. Like the
Mm-mm.
more it goes up in cost, the less there is really a difference between them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I was talking with somebody yesterday who's a multimillionaire and his next goal is to become a billionaire. And he's like, it's probably easier to do because there's less people who do it. So, there's less competition. And I was like, that's true. But I'm thinking to myself today, I'm like, what could actually be better about your life being a billionaire as opposed to a multimillionaire? What could possibly be better? I mean, the food,
Well,
not going to be that much better.
no,
What, you're gonna have more things that you're gonna have to take care of? That's not any more fun. Like,
that you're
what
not
could
going to
possibly
use.
be better? Yeah.
Like, well,
What
it's
could
funny
possibly
too.
be better?
And the funny thing is, like that mindset of like more and more and more, it's really funny too, because it's like you already have enough. Like you already have more than you need to live comfortably and do things that you want to do. But instead, you're so focused on win because it's about winning. That's all it is. It's about winning. I mean, I think that's
Hmm.
this really sad thing is that we've gotten to a point where people just want to be able to look around and say, I'm beating all of them. Ha,
Hmm.
right? But it's like, well, you're not
Hmm.
happy, so who cares? Like, it doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. But there's a saying, if you realize you have enough, then you're truly rich. And
yeah,
I remember, I don't know where I listened to it, but some guy who was like stranded on an ocean after his plane crashed in one of the wars. He was stranded in an ocean in a little rubber dinghy with a bunch of people, and they were out there for months, and they ran out of water. So like they literally have to wait until it rained to have water to drink. And when he got back,
yeah,
and they ran out of food for a long, long time. And when he got
yeah.
back to Earth, to Earth,
Earth
when he got back to he
from the
was floating
mythical
around in the
ocean.
universe. When he got back to land, they asked him, they're like, what did you learn about this? And he's like, if you literally have fresh water to drink and food to eat, you have enough. Like, that's it. You have enough. Yeah.
Well, that's the funny thing. It's like all this other shit is just add-ons that were sold, and they don't. Well, it's funny. It's like, it's funny. Like they're trying. Apple just released the iPhone 14. I thought they just introduced the 13. It felt like a day ago, and it's
Uh-huh.
funny because it's like all these people. There's all these articles about it and all this stuff about it. It's like it is such a marginal difference between that and the previous. Like it's like, yeah, people buy into this. I have to constantly upgrade, right? Or like I'm somehow losing, or I don't have the best. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's just that I think
Yeah.
that's the problem. You have to pull yourself out of that way
Well,
of thinking, and it's
if you
very
don't
hard.
have the latest Apple phone, your battery lasts half as long. It's just like literally,
Because they
I noticed that. I noticed that on my phone this past month, the past few weeks, my battery's
they
been
update the
dying
operating
so
system.
much
Yeah,
faster. Yeah,
yeah.
and I didn't know until just a couple days ago that they released the 14,
You
and
should
I'm
have
like,
known.
wow, that almost correlated perfectly when my battery started dying. This is crazy.
Yeah. Oh my God. Somebody told me one time, they're like, if you use Apple phones, you just have to stop updating your phone before the next new model comes out, and then you'll be okay.
Yeah, right.
Because otherwise they're like, yeah,
Dude, it's
it's
absurd.
ridiculous.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
anyways, I mean, if you have water and if you have, and I've been trying to recognize that recently, like that's one of the things about on feeling shitty. Like you have to, it has to be intentional where you try and notice these things because when you're feeling
Yes.
shitty,
Yeah.
it's so easy to look for externals that you don't have and be like, well, I'm feeling shitty because of that. And I'm feeling shitty because I don't have that. And it's like, no, that's not true. You're actually feeling shitty because you don't recognize this and you don't recognize this that you already have. And so, like, taking the time when I'm just like, when I'm having breakfast or something, being like, oh my gosh, like, look at this amazing meal that was from foods collected all over the world. All
Yeah.
these workers had to like
Literally.
collect the eggs and like all the different stuff and like coffee coming from a different country and like all these different things just so I can have it here. And look at this. There's more than enough. I'm not starving. This is awesome.
Yeah, I know. And it's funny too. We never seem to take the time to recognize what we're grateful for, what we do have. Like, I was just thinking about this the other day. Like, we can get fresh fruit anytime of the year, anytime now. It's like amazing because they figure. I think it's because of the container shipping and the air conditioning on it now or whatever. But like, it is amazing. Like, you can get fresh fruit anytime of year, anything you want. And it's like, but we just forget it because we take everything for granted so fast. It's like once it becomes a
Mhm.
normal thing, we're like, whatever, it's always there. It should always be there. And then we get mad at it. It's like, I think it is. Gratitude's important, recognizing what you have. And also like, yeah, I think realizing you have enough is also important. It is.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah, it's
okay to
almost
want more. It's okay to like build, right? But like you gotta also recognize that it's just that's not the goal.
hmm,
Or if it
yeah,
is, you're gonna be feel shitty a lot.
yeah, definitely. It's almost like you need to go without once in a while in order to appreciate it. Like I remember back when I was going to vet school down in the Caribbean, we were on an island. It had one supermarket that was like Western foods. The rest of it was just like canned goods and like you
Yeah.
know. So like so it had like but like the shipments would come in on Thursday, and if you waited until Monday, all the food would be gone. So like if you literally wanted to go shopping, you would go shopping Thursday or maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday you're pushing it, Monday you're done. There's no food there
Yeah.
until like but it like and there was no Walmarts, there was no 24-hour stores. It was
Like
like
convenience stuff, yeah, you get used to. Yeah.
yeah, so it was I mean living there was great, but you had to get used to this stuff. So then whenever I would come back to America for like the summer break or whatever, I would just like go walk in supermarkets on like a Wednesday or a Tuesday, and they would just be stocked with fruit, and
I
my eyes
marvel
would
at
be
the
this
food.
big. I would just be like, "Oh my goodness, look at all this stuff! This is absurd."
Yeah. Well, it's funny too. It's like I remember I was out with somebody the other day, and they're like, oh, I can't believe I forget what store it was, like this Wawa or whatever is not open 24 hours anymore. I'm like, well, why should it be? Like, why do you expect? How often do you even go at 2 in the morning? You know,
Yeah,
like how
right.
much is that a necessity? Like, if you were, I don't know, driving a truck at night, maybe you'd be mad about that. But like, really, why do we expect this stuff?
Hmm.
You know?
I guess because it once happened. I remember like back before. I think like the .com bubble, all the stores were going 24 hours. Like Walmart was 24 hour. Like literally every
Yeah.
store was just
It
going
happened
24
really
hours.
fast too. It happened really
Mhm.
fast. Because I remember they
Yeah.
used to all be closed on like Sundays and stuff, and they would all, and then all of a sudden it was just like everything shifted, and everything was just open all the time. It was really weird.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So on feeling shitty, I guess that's about all. If
that's
it,
about all.
if you're feeling shitty today, you're in good company. Some of the
Yeah,
best
you are.
people in the world have felt shitty.
And are feeling shitty right now.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't worry too much about it. Take care of yourself because it's important. But
Yeah.
this is the Existential Stoic podcast. Make sure to check us out on YouTube, all the podcasting services. I'm Randy. That's Danny. I'll see you later, Danny.
Later, Randy.